Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming out today. Thank you to all of you who stayed after that marvelous presentation by Judy Cross. We appreciate it. I have to find, well, normally, I'll go back to, in normal times, I would introduce to you the various board members who are here. But given that it would be hard to put 39 people on the screen and all of that, I'm going to bypass that and just say welcome to everyone. We do have some housekeeping details, though, that I just wanted to talk about. Everyone is muted at the time. If you want to make a comment, or we're going to need at some point you to make a motion and second a motion, you can raise your hand and I will ask you to unmute yourself. Is that correct, Marshall? Okay. Okay. The other thing would be that if you do have comments or something that you feel a question, there is the chat room, and you can go to that at the, for me, it's at the bottom of my screen. It may be at the top of yours, and you can type it in. And I've got Sue Conklin here kind of acting as my sidekick, and Marshall as well, so we can keep track of things and make sure that we're not leaving everyone out. Okay, so the first thing I want to do to start this meeting is mention, as Barbara did, Bill Plummer. Bill Plummer was a longtime member and contributor to the library and the Friends. Last year, with much foresight, Nancy Dowd organized a recognition of him. And at that time, she found newspaper articles, I believe, going back to the 50s of reviews he had done for Books Sandwiched In. And so we will miss him, and we thank him for all that he did and all the encouragement he gave to the rest of us. So here we go. It has been a most unusual year for all of us. Throughout this year, the board has strived to maintain the support of the Friends through its various programs and committees. I would like to briefly tell you about what our efforts have been in 2020. I'm going to start with our most obvious one, Books Sandwiched In. We had a delightful season in 2020, filled with both excellent reviews and some very tasty treats. The 2021 season has already produced 2 wonderful programs, and we thank Louise Richardson and Barbara Cook, who are the co-chairs, along with their committee, for all their work and for the excellent job they have done. If you haven't seen the complete list for 2021, I believe Barbara mentioned that there are bookmarks that you can pick up here at the library. You can also go to the library website. It's listed all together, or if you have trouble negotiating the website, you can go to the calendar, and each week there is one posted, and you can click on that to sign up for the Zoom meetings. We certainly hope you will do so. I'm sure Barbara mentioned it, but I will say it once again, that there will be no Book Sandwich In next week because of the inauguration. I also want to recognize Barbara, who will be stepping down as co-chair. She's been co-chair and for me, the face of Book Sandwiched In for many, many years. And we're certainly going to miss seeing her introduce people. And we thank her for all the hard work she's given us these years. I'd also like to mention that the committee would always welcome new members, and you can contact me, you can contact Louise Richardson, you can drop your name off at the main desk at the library, and they will make sure that we get it. The second program that we have actually been able to continue in 2020, despite everything, is the Books for Babies program, which is chaired by Jean Krebs. Jean was able to deliver 305 books to the Corning Guthrie Hospital. In addition to the books, she had 2 leaflets that went with it. One was general information for parents, and the other one was about the library and the programs here, particularly stories for children. Jean reports that each time she delivers the books, the hospital expresses their appreciation. And we thank Jean, who will be stepping down after her term expired in December. One program that had to go on hiatus this year is the Bright Red Bookshelves. Because of the pandemic, it was felt that there was a possibility of spreading the virus through the books. And so the general office in Steuben County shut that down. If you're not sure what they are, the Bright Red Bookshelves, you'll see them in doctor's offices and banks. There's one here in the lobby of the library, and they've been put together to encourage a love of reading for children, and they offer free of charge, gently used books. Most of them, I would say, are dedicated to early readers, but we do also put in chapter books for those who are interested. So we're simply waiting for the pandemic to subside and for a go-ahead from the chairman. Our chair at the moment is Karen Swan, has a good store of books here in the garage. And so as soon as we get the go-ahead, we will be ready to stock those shelves. Our publicity chair, Ann Foster, has been busy keeping awareness of the library, our group, and its efforts in the public eye. She is responsible for the very attractive postcard you received at Christmas time announcing this annual meeting. Ann also works with the library's public relations director, Marshall Hyde. And hopefully you've noticed their efforts on the library website, Facebook, and also WETM's website has a listing of the Book Sandwich In's programs. I want to thank Marshall for putting up with me and all he has done to help get this meeting together and to continue to go it. I could not have done it without him. Which brings us to membership. That has been chaired by Brad Turner for many years. You've seen him at Book Sandwiched In, you've seen him at our book sales, but you've not seen him at our sales in 2020. Luckily, he was able to be here during Book Sandwiched In early 2020, but since then, he has not been able to collect membership dues. And the board, in discussing this, decided that in all fairness, we would simply extend membership of all patrons or members whose membership expired during this time so that they would not be penalized by the virus. But it also means that we haven't been collecting any membership dues. And so I'm going to encourage you that even though we don't have the book sales right now, we would love to have your membership dues to help shore up our treasury. There are two ways you can do this. You can put your dues with your name and your email and all of that in an envelope and drop it off at the library, the main desk, or you can mail it to Friends of the Library, Box 444, Corning, New York. And our treasurer, Sue Conklin, will then be able to take care of that. We would appreciate all the support you have. We would also appreciate if you would encourage all of your friends, if they're not members of the Friends of the Library, to join us. And that, of course, leaves as last the book sale committee. Obviously, we did not have any book sales this year. It was with a very heavy heart that we concluded we had to cancel them. We made that decision. We wouldn't have had any choice anyway. There simply was not the place to have them. Nevertheless, Anna Rice and Nancy Doubt, along with the board, have been working hard to try to get book sales going for this coming year, for 2021. We have dates set with the East Corning Library or Fire Department. It will depend on how safe it is to have the book sales there. In the meantime, we are exploring every option to try to make certain that we have book sales this year and can continue our tradition of supporting the library financially. We also have not been able to accept donations at this time. Our garage is full. Our garage was full in the spring when we had to cancel, and since then we have pretty much asked for people to put a hold on their donations. And we know that's hard on you. We know you would like to get them out of your house. And we continue to explore, again, options of places that we could store and sort books if we could resume donations. At this time, it's not possible, but we're not giving up. So please hold on to them. We'll look forward to getting them, and we sincerely thank you for your patience in all of this. The one thing we have been able to do is we realize that we have lots of members who use the fall sale to stock up on puzzles to get them through the winter. And so we've set up a shelf here in the library where we offer puzzles, and that money goes directly to the library. But if you're in need of something to do this winter, check out our puzzles. That is pretty much for our friends of the library. I would now like to introduce you and turn it over to Pauline Emery, who's going to give us a brief message from the library itself.
Hi, everyone. Nice to see so many familiar faces. I want to thank the Friends of the Library for their unwavering support. This has indeed been an interesting time period we've gone through. 2020 is gone.
Pauline,
Good riddance.
you're
Yes?
free to unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me? Oh. On my end, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, you can? Okay. I want to thank the Friends of the Library for their unwavering support. It's been such a difficult time for sure for everyone. And 2020 is gone, good riddance, right? But we still have many obstacles to overcome, and I'm confident that we can tackle them all together. Highlights for the library were that we do now have a state-of-the-art heating cooling system. And what a great time to have that, correct? We've updated our security system, including a fire panel. We have higher quality security cameras at all different locations throughout the entire building. All of this on top of a pandemic, at least that's the positive things that were able to be done during closures or partial closures. I really want to recognize everyone's help for when we moved to the Denison location and then when we moved back. So many volunteers are also Friends members, and within 2 weeks, over 10,000 items were reshelved, and the space was able to accommodate the public again. And we couldn't have done that without the help of the Friends and other volunteers. And I just want to say, we really appreciated that. It was pretty amazing to see. So thank you all for that. On behalf of the board and myself and the staff, we value all your efforts. We know it's been hard, and we'd love if we could have a book sale, but we know the future will be better. And we're gonna all be okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Pauline. Okay, and now we will also have a word from Barbaraclaren, President of the Trustees.
Hi there. Thank you, Bev. I will just, can you all hear me okay?
Barbara?
Can you hear me okay?
Barbara, you're able to unmute yourself?
I'm unmuted and I'm getting nodding heads and thumbs up, but for some reason, Bev and Marshall can't hear me. So I'll just continue. So I was going to say that like Alex Trebek, I'm a Canadian transplant here in the States, and growing up in Vancouver, BC, in British Columbia, watching Reach for the Top on Monday nights was a staple in my household. So I've known Alex a long time, not personally, but you know, as a fan. And when I was in high school, a team from my school actually was going to be on the show. I was so shy, painfully shy at that point in my life, at the thought of being on camera and freezing up, which was a likelihood. That prevented me from trying out, but instead I helped team members practice with the questions leading up to the show. I don't remember how well my school did. I'm assuming they didn't do well because otherwise I would have remembered, but it was a fun experience anyways. So in preparing for this little quick little presentation to you today, in thinking about the book, thinking about what our beloved library has in common with Alex Trebek, I wanted to share 5 things with you, and thinking that, you know, there's 5 questions per Jeopardy category. So I thought that was fitting, right? So here are the 5 things. And some of them Judy spoke about, but I'll relate them to the library. So the first is the host is not the star of the show. And as we know, really the staff and volunteers put the focus on the patrons, on their interests, on their needs and their wants. That's what always comes first. And I think that is really evident in the work that they do every day. The second thing is that, like the quiz show, Jeopardy, the library is part education and part entertainment, right? We provide education and entertainment in the materials that we can provide. And like Alex talked about, we want the patrons to be able to go home feeling like they had a good experience, that they feel safe and provided for. And I think this is true in the experience that we want and hopefully provide our patrons, whether it's in the ways and ease that they can access the materials and as well as pick up materials these days, the availability of materials, as well as the depth and breadth of programs that are offered. All these are done with the patron in mind. And I guess, like Alex says, throw in some humor and silliness in the day-to-day life. In normal times when the library is open to everybody, full of patrons, you will hear laughter and joy throughout the building. Thirdly, curiosity and a thirst for knowledge. And Alex talks about this enriching everyone and broadening your understanding of life and others. And if you have a problem, to solve it, as Judy talked about. And I think that so aptly describes the library staff this past year in particular. When faced with the pandemic, the closure of the library, all that they were concerned about was how they could continue to provide programs and services to our patrons, and they were able to find really creative ways to do that while keeping everyone safe. Then we threw on them the move to a temporary location so that we could move up the date of the HVAC project by 3 or 4 months, all during a pandemic, right? And I know that you, the friends as well, are problem solvers this past year, as just was mentioned, what you've been able to continue doing or change or just put on hold until things make sense, right? So all in the name of problem solving. Fourthly, the team that it takes to put on a show, right? Alex talks about all the people sort of behind the scenes and, and what it takes to really do that. And for us, it's putting on the show, right? As well as taking care of someone and people. Sorry, and I was going to say, he also talks at the end of the book with his cancer diagnosis, the caretakers around him and the people who have helped along the way, along with timing and luck. For us, that's the Southern Tier Library System, all the partner organizations we work with, the taxpayers, the donors, the staff, the volunteers, the friends of the library, board members, and patrons, all play a significant role in putting on our show, be it our programs and services. And finally, life is really about the memorable moments, the things we collect along the way. For Alex, he collected cars and tools. He also, obviously in this book, it's a collection of stories and memories that he shares. And it made me think about when we interview prospective new board members at the library, one of the questions we always ask is, what does the library mean to you? And you would often think that in response to that question, you'd hear, oh, well, a library is books and, being able to borrow these things and come in and use the computers and all that sort of thing, sort of a list of what we provide. Or even philosophically, what does a library, provide to a community? But more often than not, what we hear in response to that question is very personal stories of how a library, whether it be our library or a library where the person grew up, has influenced them and has helped shape them. So again, it really is about these memorable moments. The overarching theme of Alex's collection of memories to me is what is empathy and understanding, two qualities that our library family members have in abundance. It's been a year of anxiety, loss, challenges, and upheaval. And yet, like Alex, we still believe in the will to go on, the power of positivity, optimism, and hope. And this resilience that we have as an organization is due in large part to the library staff, the volunteers, and the friends of the library. So for myself and the Board of Trustees, I want to thank you all so much for your hard work and support in helping our library to continue to serve the community and its needs with empathy and understanding.
Thank you very much, Barbara. That was lovely. So now we get to the nitty-gritty. We have a budget to approve. You're going to see it's significantly different from past years, and we've simplified it. Certainly, if you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat or raise your hand. But Marshall's going to put the modified budget or abbreviated budget on the screen. Sue, do you want to talk about this or no? Okay. No, okay. No. Scroll up. Okay. So the first thing you're going to see is what, number one, what we actually knew, that there were no book sales in 2020. When you look at 2021, you will see that there's only one book sale highlighted. We are going to do our darndest to have some kind of sale this spring. Given the circumstances, we have no idea what it will be. We will remain optimistic, but at the same time, we felt with this budget, we should be realistic. And so we're going to say that surely by fall, we can have a book sale. And we're only going to budget for $25,000, which is about what we take in these days in a book sale, and hope that that's actually going to be more. Under memberships, you see that we only took in $345 in 2020. I discussed that in my review of membership. We're hoping that my plea and some other new things will get it up to maybe 1,000. It's usually much more than that, but again, we're trying to be realistic. We have no interest in checking and savings. There is no interest to be found in the banks. And so our total planned income for 2021 is $26,000. Okay, you can scroll up. Scroll up. Oh, sorry. It would help if I could read. Okay, library support. The $450.15 is really more monies that had to do with book sales that we didn't have. We probably had printing costs that we'd already done when we had to cancel, that sort of thing. The $23,230 is not what we plan to give the library. Included in that are the costs involved in holding a book sale. Right now, our proposal is that we will be able to give the library about $17,000 this coming year. It saddens us greatly to say that, but we have to be realistic. We hope, and we're encouraging you all to give us ideas, to support us in any way to make that a much larger number. Our programs, book sandwiched in, that's the cost of using the Congregational Church. That's the cost of the refreshments that we have. Books for babies, that would be the cost of buying new books. Public relations and membership, excuse me, that's the cost of, for example, mailing out. Sue's going to help me out here. Okay. Public relations, yes. That would be the postcard that we sent out in December. I'm sure many of you noticed that it was a normal size postcard instead of the larger one that had been sent out in the past. That did two things. It saved us on the cost of printing it, and it also saved us in postage. But we're hoping to go back to something more normal. And so that's the $785. Administration is the post office box rental that we have, certified mail fees, library association dues, the annual audit, and that sort of thing. Okay, if you want to scroll up. That is it. So that comes out to also $26,000. We are trying to be extremely conservative. We are trying to be very realistic. If we have any questions, don't know, do I see any in the chat? No? Okay. Then I would entertain a motion for acceptance of the budget. You,
Everyone can unmute.
So moved.
So moved.
okay, Louise Richardson has made the motion that we accept the budget. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Barbara Cook has seconded. Thank you both.
She can't.
All those in favor, just do a thumbs up. Or say
Yeah, or
aye.
say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Hearing no opposition, I will say that the budget resolution has passed. And finally, it is my pleasure, and excuse me just 1 minute while I do housekeeping. When I say their names, can you highlight them?
I can find them.
Okay, this may take a little while, we'll do the best we can. We are delighted to have 4 new members, hopefully with your vote, coming onto our board this year. They are all wonderful, enthusiastic people engaged in the library and the love of books and reading. And I'm just going to give you a brief, very brief intro and tell where you might have seen them, and hopefully Marshall will be able to find their pictures so that you can see them. First is Bernie Baldini. Bernie is a retired librarian, and in normal times, if you came to donate books during the months of May, June, and July, you would find her in the garage sorting books for our book sale. Did we find Bernie? No?
No camera.
Okay,
That's just came on.
okay.
There we go. There we go. Hold on.
Okay. Hang on. Hi, Bernie. That's Bernie. Bernie's a longtime resident of Corning. Her family's been here forever, right, Bernie?
You can unmute yourself if you want to respond.
Mute.
I don't think she heard you.
You can unmute yourself if you'd like to respond.
Okay. Again, we're having technological difficulties. We'll move on. Anyway, nice to see you, Bernie.
Thanks.
Our next one is Judy Garrett. Judy Garrett has been involved with the library for as long as I can remember. You probably have seen her if you've attended Book Sandwiched In over at the church. Because she's the one who's really helped us put it all together. Making sure we've got the chair set up, making sure we have the audio on, helping in the kitchen. Hi, Judy. Nice to see you.
Hi, thank you. Good to see you all.
Next is Annie McCaslin. Annie is a retired school teacher, and those of you who attended Book Sandwich In last year may remember that she was referenced when her husband reviewed the book Gentleman in Moscow. She was a very enthusiastic proponent of that book. Do we have Annie? No,
I see something that says Annie's iPad, is that Annie?
I don't know.
You asked her.
Annie, is Annie's iPad you?
No?
Okay.
She is probably.
Your last one is Hazel Russell. Some of you may know Hazel. She has been a member of the Board of Trustees and was very active there. She's been a long time library advocate and volunteer, and we're delighted that she's willing to come down and help us as well. So these are the four ladies. Hi, Hazel.
Hi.
So Bernie Baldini, Judy Garrett, Annie McCasman, Hazel Russell. Could I please have a motion to accept the nominations of these four candidates?
I so move.
Anna Rice has made a motion that we accept these four candidates as members of the board.
With Margot Brown.
Do I have a second? Library, do I have a second? Is that Linda Swan?
Karen.
Karen Swan. Karen Swan seconds it. Hey, all those in favor, either say aye or give a thumbs up.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion is carried. Congratulations, welcome. We look forward to working with you starting in February, although you'll be hearing from me sooner than that. And I think that is all I have. I want to thank the 6 outgoing members for all the work they've done. I don't think we ever had a chance to properly thank Lee Mertson for the many years and all the hard work she did. She made this job so much easier with her meticulous notes on how to do it. And so any mistakes are totally mine. She did a great job and we thank her. And I thank you all for the time you gave. We look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks at the Sandwich Den. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Okay, Sue Conklin has moved to adjourn the meeting. I don't think we need a second, do we? No, I don't think so. Okay, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you again. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, Bev.